Right, before we begin today, I do just want to issue an apology to the listeners and to my fans in general. I didn't know what was in Dookie Chews when I accepted the sponsorship. But I do want to apologise to anyone who bought a bag of Dookie Chews based on my endorsement. To be fair, the tagline of the product, Chew the Duke, was, looking back, a bit of a clue as to what was in it, as was the catchphrase I went with for my sponsorship videos, which was, there's shit in it.
I'd have said the name Dookie Chews probably should have gotten people there, but you know.
Had I known what that all meant, I almost certainly wouldn't have taken the money. However, I would just like to emphasise the real point of this story that everyone is forgetting is that less than 15% of people were affected by the Dookie in Dookie Chews. The E. coli is a different matter, but the Dookie was relatively safe.
I'm really glad you cleared it up.
Well, it's a learning experience, you know?
Yeah.
Be careful who you accept sponsorships from. I will never take another sponsorship from Creedle and Crabnuts again.
You can't be held to too high of a standard, you know. Back in the day, I did take a sponsorship from Very Clearly Evil Incorporated, and, you know, I thought I'd done my due diligence, I just wasn't... how could I have known about all the evil they were doing? That's not my fault.
Wait. Is there an issue with Very Evil Incorporated?
Oh
God.
No, the name, I thought it was just like a funny little inside joke. It was a legally binding admission of guilt that they had to put in the company name to be allowed to form as a company.
Shit. The podcast's being sponsored by them next week. I didn't know they were actually very evil. Who could have known?
This is quickly turning into a joke about all of those companies named based on Lord of the Rings that, you know, now proliferate throughout our entire world. Palantir. Oh, there's nothing sinister about the thing that is used by Sauron to scry the entire fucking world.
Yeah. Yeah. That fast food chain called Shelob's is, yeah, that's had some health and safety issues. No, that is actually a fair point. Like, why do they think they're good? Do they know they're bad? Like, does a Peter Thiel, does he know he's bad?
I do think it might be a matter of perspective. Like, everybody tells you that you're right for so long, you have no reason then to think other than the fact that you're right. And if then you think that Greta Thunberg is the Antichrist, then you must be right. They must be the Antichrist.
Gosh, I can't imagine having the number of brainworms required to be that convinced about the Antichrist definitely being Greta Thunberg.
If brainworms are dollars, then you're on the right track as to how this happened.
These are the people that watch Return of the Jedi and think it's a downer ending. Like, they've got to. No, I mean, obviously they just have that dissonance there where they're like, oh, the Empire's bad and it's not about Nazis, who are okay, who had some points.
Look, I've seen very genuine attempts made in the past, and this is one that's always stuck with me, from right wingers to argue, well, it's okay that you're comparing us to, like, Darth Vader and the Sith side of Star Wars, because at the end of Star Wars, Darth Vader is the good guy.
Oh,
He says his nice words at the end. He was good all along, and therefore, you know, actually, it's quite a good thing to be compared to Darth Vader.
I think they'd much rather be talking about that than how the whole thing kicked off through, like, trade disputes. I think they really want people to ignore that.
The thing is, that doesn't work, though, because we've seen what they do when they, like, disagree with their kids. It's very different. Darth Vader turned good because of his son.
Right.
Fucking some MAGA voter has a gay son. They kick him out.
Elon Musk has a trans daughter.
Yeah.
They would argue I only kicked them out. I didn't chop their hand off like Darth Vader did, and he was still the good guy at the end.
Yeah, but they would stand and watch if Emperor Palpatine tried to cook them.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I'm queasy. I've eaten too many Dookie Chews.
Even before you knew the Dookie Chews were bad, you knew they were marketed as sweets, and you probably shouldn't have eaten that many for breakfast.
I shouldn't have. I ate buns for breakfast. I was on a sad one yesterday, so I decided to buy a lot of pastry. And then I woke up this morning and, oh God, I'm embarrassed to say it, but I will. I had 2 Danishes and a muffin.
Ooh.
And it was really good, though.
Of course.
In my defence.
Yep.
The strawberry muffins these people do is fucking great, because what they do, it's like a regular type muffin, but it's got like a heart, like a core of strawberry jam, and then on top is strawberry jam, and then sprinkled on that like bacon, like little bacon bits, are little dried strawberry bits, and then that's surrounded by icing. And that's not what you want to eat when you've just woken up. I want to eat them, but I should have saved it till later. Not a good idea.
Last night after dinner, it was Jane's birthday recently, so after dinner we had a lovely curry for dinner, and then we had the tail end of a few different birthday cakes that different friends had brought. So it's like curry, followed by cake, pecan pie, and more cake for dessert. Oh, it was a good night.
Oh, that does sound lovely, except for the pecan bit, because that would kill me.
Well, that's why I ate it, to save you from the pecan pie. There's fewer pecans in the world because of my sacrifice.
You're a true British hero at the end of the day. Like, that could have saved my life.
Yeah.
Who knows where they defended it?
If I hadn't eaten it, someone might have posted the rest of it to you. I literally saved your life.
It's a risk. It's a constant risk. As a prominent political activist and agitator, as I am, well known for it, I'm very easily poisonable. It's the one reason I couldn't hold office. I can think of no other reason why I wouldn't become an elected official.
Well, I can think of at least one, which is, if you became an elected official, would you be able to guarantee time in your schedule every Wednesday to record Podquisition, a podcast about video games, what we're here doing?
I love how that was an advert for this podcast within the podcast.
Well, it was me doing my best to do that bit where I steer us toward video games, somewhere between 7 to 10 minutes in, ideally.
It sounded very much like you'd accepted a sponsorship, and as I like to always say, when I'm sponsored by this podcast, there's shit in it. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, just wait until you find out what secrets are going to come out about this podcast next week. You'll regret that sponsorship.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of shit, has anyone played Code Violet?
No.
I didn't, because I heard how terrible it was, and I had better things to do with my time. But I do want to hear everything about it from you. I
bring it up just because I've thought too much about Code Violet and don't want to think about it anymore. So if I get it out of the way, I can now stop. I am actually legitimately annoyed that game got the prominence it got. Because if you'd seen the company's prior work, there's no way this should have gotten headlines anywhere. It shouldn't even be a story. And it has been. I've seen it on blogs, I've seen it in YouTube videos. It's a story that this game got negative press reviews. It shouldn't be headlines. Because the developer is shovelware. They make shovelware. The kind of stuff you would see dredging the bowels of Steam, except this one isn't on Steam, and as many people have pointed out, surely that's got nothing to do with Steam's refund policy, which I actually, on reflection, not sure that's why it's PS5 exclusive. I think it's PS5 exclusive because PS5 exclusives get a little bit more attention.
Yes.
And it gives it this unearned aura of...
A PS5 exclusive has an inherent bit of, like, built-in marketing. Like, that's exactly. A free pass.
And that's everything about this game reeks of a studio desperate for attention that, as they've demonstrated in the past, will say and do anything to get sales. The reason Team Kill Media gave for not having a PC release was that they didn't want modders doing vulgar things with their protagonist, which caused a bit of a stir. And having played the game, it's rampantly hypocritical. But a nude mod would have more dignity than the cartoonish way her ass physics jiggle in a game with really stiff animations everywhere else.
Steph, I think you're misinterpreting their statement. It's not that they didn't want nudity or vulgarness to exist in relationship to the game. They didn't want other people making vulgar content. They wanted to corner the market on vulgarity for their game.
If someone's gonna strip our protagonist of her dignity, it's gonna be us. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. There are costumes that look like they come straight out of a Carry On film. Like the Badonkadonk outfit. This game, they are claiming, like, they act like their protagonist is to be taken seriously. And, like, the skin-tight gold lame bodysuit comes with its own camel toe. Like, I have no problem with sexy stuff, right? I love Nier Automata, love me some Bayonetta. My thing with it has always been, just be upfront. Just own what you're doing. If you've put a bunch of barely dressed asses in your game because you want to have a little bit of a perv, right? I can respect you, like, just straight up saying that. When you try and intellectualize your horniness and dress it up, like, obviously, most famously, Kojima with the breathes through her skin thing, I find that legitimately more creepy than, say, Kamiya just being like, I like pretty girls. Like, that's less creepy than you'll be ashamed when you find out why I really got her Norks out.
Side note, I'm looking at the Badonkadonk outfit and the leather bra and underwear where I'm pretty sure just the edge of the nipple is visible. To claim that you didn't want people making vulgar mods of your game is an interesting defense.
The hard difficulty setting is called Sexysaurus Rex. The marketing push for this game primarily consisted of, here are sexy pre-order costumes. And I can tell what this game is doing. I mentioned it in the review that is published now. This game desperately wants to be the next Stellar Blade. That's what this game wants to be.
Oh, yeah.
The hypocrisy of their statement might have been deliberate. Like, they want the two-hit punch that Stellar Blade had of radiating a level of attention-grabbing sexiness, which Stellar Blade did quite well, and marrying that to some manufactured nerdbait controversy. And that, coupled with the exclusivity, did get them attention. Plus, I think people are so thirsty for a Dino Crisis, because we are kind of, the market's starved of good dinosaur games in general, and people are ravenous for a Dino Crisis. And I think that's cynical as well, because the enemies in this game could have been anything, and you can just plug in dinosaurs. This studio, I played their last game, Quantum Error, and it was so bad, coupled with being inherently worthless to everyone, that I didn't review it. It was genuinely beneath me to review it. And if you've seen some of the things I'll write about, then you know very little is beneath me. That is. And so throughout the entirety of Code Violet's like build and sort of prominence in the community and the press, I I knew exactly how shit it was going to be, and it kind of got
Yeah.
on my nerves that the game was enjoying wholly undeserved attention.
Can I describe to you an Instagram ad that this
Oh,
developer put out for Code Violet
Please.
8 months ago, back in May of 2025?
Mm-mm.
So the image is a woman who is twisting her spine so sharply that both her ass and her tits are facing the camera at the same time.
Yeah.
In a sort of, I don't know whether it's leather or lace outfit, but you're getting a good look at both her tits and her ass. And I'm going to read you the text from that accompanies the post because it's beautiful. Gamers, brace yourself. Code Violet is coming soon with jaw-dropping custom outfits you'll unlock while battling ferocious dinosaur terrors. Unlock these amazing outfits and get a great look at our main character. Have a great Memorial Day.
Oh, I love that little sign off. Here's the thing, though, right? I'll say one thing. To be fair to the developers, the bit where her arse and head are so twisted that they could be seen. Now, the character model physics in that game could make that possible, because whenever you shoot a dinosaur, their ragdoll bodies will twist in turn in fantastical proportions. They will just collapse and melt and unfurl. And yeah, the character models are just so badly put together that there is every chance her ass and her head will be on backwards. It's a really bad game. It came as no surprise. At its very best, it is a bargain basement, very dull, barely working, just sort of minimum viable level of working third-person shooter with survival horror pretensions. That's it at its very best, and most of the time it's not at its very best. It's considerably worse. The camera is awful. Like, the very first dinosaur I encountered, I aimed my gun, and because the camera can't handle the many tight spaces in the game, the camera just sank behind Violet. So all I could see was her back, and I couldn't see where I was shooting, and that's really common. The first hour of this game was hell until I found a safe room, because there was barely any auto-saving, and dinosaurs take off massive chunks of health, and there's like a better than small chance they'll inflict bleeding, which will just drain your maximum health unless you find a tourniquet and use that. I had to replay the first segment so many times. However, that's reversed when you find a safe room because of one glorious bit of ineptitude on the game's behalf. When you reload a save, every item that was placed in the world that you can pick up repopulates. So what you can do once you can manually save is you can run around, pick up enough ammo to where it's functionally infinite, get rarer but really useful consumables like the thing that turns you invisible to dinosaurs. There's 2 of those in the first area, I think, and I left the first area with about half a dozen, more than that probably. You just stock up, and then the rest of the game's trivial. So, as a plus point to it, the game might be fucking awful, but you don't have to really play it once you've farmed a bit. It's just terrible. The AI of the dinosaurs is a joke. There's barely any dinosaur variety. They will try and pathfind through solid objects. The Dilophosaurus is one of the least threatening enemies I've ever seen. It spits these 2 little gobbets of goo at a fire rate of 2 shots every several seconds. And they will try and do that through solid objects as well. It's just really dull, really broken, visually unappealing. Like, how dare this game think anyone's going to wank over it? It's another thing I said in the review, is I'm not going to be hyperbolic and say it looks like a PS2 game, but I will say with all certainty, there are PS2 games I'd rather masturbate to. You can't sell a game based on sex appeal when you're visuals are ugly. Like, Stellar Blade graphically looked nice. So the arses looked nice. It doesn't work. I recommend people look up footage of... I can't tell if the tanky Dilophosaurus was a boss or not. So it would either be the first or second boss. It looks like some sort of, like, reptile hybrid with a man. Like, properly bipedal, but with lizard skin and a lizardy head. Look up footage of it. I urge listeners, because it's unbelievable. When I say it moves like a guy in a rubber suit from a B movie, I'm not exaggerating. It looks and moves like something that you'd see in like a film like Zapped or Octoman or half a dozen of the films that have been riffed on in Mystery Science Theatre. It's unbelievable. It's so wobbly and wibbly and a joke. If you're in tall grass, you're so invisible, the dinosaurs can walk through you and not see you. Full on, just clip through Violet's body. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm just going to leave it at this game is disgusting, rancid digital swill. Should never have gotten where it got.
Yep. Side-connected news story this week, just about the state of games on PlayStation. Over 1,000 games got removed from PSN this week from a single developer. A developer called Thi Games, THI Games. Prior to these games getting removed from PSN, they were the 4th highest ranked developer on the PlayStation Store in terms of quantity of games.
Jesus Christ.
Which tells me there are 3 developers with more than 1,000 games published.
And that reminds me, Team Kill, the Dino Crisis people, right? They've got, I think, another 4 or 5 games in the works right now.
Yeah.
That was brought up on my Discord, and I said there, like, as a studio at that level, you don't have 5 games on the go unless you are going to hump AI, asset flip, put together some cobbled shit. And that's an indie developer with 5 games on the go.
Yeah.
Developers on PSN with thousands, and I know exactly the type of games we're talking about here because I've seen them. It's on the eShop as well. These companies that throw up like dozens of the same game.
Yeah, I'll read you a list of some of their games that got pulled off of PSN. Jumping Fries, The Jumping Taco, The Jumping Hot Dog, The Jumping Soda, The Jumping Taco Turbo.
Yeah.
Big surprise, these ones exist because you can get a platinum trophy on PSN in under 90 seconds if you buy one.
There you go.
So sad. Why do that? Like,
yeah.
I thought we'd moved past that. I thought, like, Chivo hunting had been around long enough that stuff like you'd see on the 360, like that King Kong game. There was a King Kong game and a Naruto game, I think. And they were really bad, but they sold really well because the achievements were easy to get. And I like, surely we as a species have moved on.
Apparently not. The Jumping Taco Turbo, it takes 95 seconds to press the jump button enough times to get your platinum.
Christ.
And that is why it was a game people were buying.
And they're all the same thing. I was at the Stupendium's house a few weeks back, and they'd gotten one of these. It was a quiz game, like a quiz about Britain. And again, there was like a silver version of the game and a gold version of the game, and there seemed to be no appreciable difference. The questions were misspelled. There weren't very many of them. And after a while, I started to realise that some were repeating. The fun game that Stoops had with this was introducing people to the game and seeing how long it took them to realise it just loops. There's actually no end to the game. There's no point to playing it. It's a not very many questions, and they just loop. And eventually you realise, wait a minute, like this game is literally the most pointless thing I could be doing right now. And that's what this shit is. It's variations of the same concepts, like, you know, as you read out, jumping something. There's a bunch about, like, all sorts of, like, rolling, jumping, bouncing, running, like, the same really basic one or two button press things. And I tell you what, right? I know I'm old and out of it, but if I see that fucking tongue thing one more time, because that weird parsnip man with the
What, you're not a
creepy
fan of
face,
Tung Tung Sahur?
He's become to me, as someone who is, confused when these kids roll around on the floor yelling 6-7, he is to me emblematic of shovelware on console storefronts, because his face has been shoved into a lot of it now. So it is like, Tung Tung does this, Tung Tung does that, and I'm like...
Well, it's not always Tung Tung. Sometimes it's Cappuccino Ballerina, or any of the other ones that I forget the fucking name of. That's the only one I can remember. Assassino... something. Oh, what was the assassin one? I have learned from these kids too much about these stupid brain rot characters.
Yeah. Oh god, they talk about brain rot all the time.
Yeah.
They'll just be like, oh, that's a brain rot meme, isn't it? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I don't know what a brain rot meme is. Children, I am old.
It's AI slop is what it is, Steph.
Yeah.
It's AI slop. What about you, Conrad? You been playing anything this week?
Well, I spent most of my week traveling, so I didn't have a lot of opportunity to play anything. But I did manage to squeeze in a little time with a game called ButtKnight.
ButtKnight?
Laura has perked up.
Was this the one you got for the festive gift?
This is the horny game that I got as a Christmas holiday gift. It is a scrolling top-down shoot-'em-up where you are a knight in a fantasy land trying to rescue princesses from demons. And actually, mechanically, it's got a little something going for it. It's not completely bereft of mechanics. You have a standard shot that you can hold the A button. It's your ranged attack fired forward in front of you like a shoot 'em up. Killing certain larger enemies will give you upgrades to attacks and give you access to, I think, 4 different types of weapons. There's the sword, arrows, lances, kunai are in there for some reason. And as you get power-ups of the same type, they increase in quantity, but also I think at any point if you get a power-up and it switches your type, that seems to be fine. You also get a power increase. So I'm not sure if it's just a preference thing or some other mechanical aspect that they're trying to play at, but it's fine enough. You have a secondary attack that's a close range melee sweep that will also eliminate projectiles, so there's good strategic value in it, but it's limited use, has to charge up between applications. And then you've got some screen clearing bombs that you have a limited quantity of each stage, and each stage typically gives you an opportunity to get one more. And you're just moving through these stages, shooting enemies as they come. The art is fun, it's playful, cartoony stuff, very jubbly. Larger enemies will often have a midpoint, design swap where they now have less clothes or they're in some saucier pose. That's fun. There's a scoring mechanic where that's how you get your porny sex scene rewards. Each level has a score goal that needs to be achieved in order to unlock that sequence. And you earn points, obviously, from destroying enemies, collecting money, and through a series of, score bonuses at the end that usually, if you can't get through it in the level, and the game's not that hard, particularly if you have some experience with shmups, but if you didn't somehow manage to score enough points during the run, then it will get you over the top usually, and it'll get you there is what I'm saying. The scenes are cute, although by the end I was like, all right, they're long, they're very descriptive. There's a lot of text. I get it, they're going down, but it's not poorly written. It's just in the vein of your pretty bog standard horny text, just fine.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the core art style looks pretty nice, I say, looking at screenshots on Google Images. Side note, I can't access this game on Steam right now because I keep getting alerts about the Online Safety Act in the UK and not being able to prove I'm over 18 to see it.
Yeah,
The art looks nice. I'm enjoying this knight with a butt face, with the butt chin going on.
And he's a very butt forward character, big butt chin. His glutes are firm and shapely. There's
the art is of way higher a quality than I would expect out of this kind of game.
Yeah, it really is actually quite good.
Like, there's a genuinely unique art art identity to it.
Yeah, it goes, it goes in a couple of directions. There's a very sort of light, cartoony, green, scale art that is charming in a ton of ways, and most of the gameplay follows that art style. And then in between, you get the hentai type scenes that are a bit more of a traditional Eastern animation style of drawing. Yeah, I like it. It's fun. It's light. It wasn't particularly demanding. Not too hard until you get to the last string of stages where you might struggle a bit. But on the whole, just a fun little quaint, horny game. And I did enjoy it. So thank you for the gift. I do appreciate it. But that's ButtKnight.
Yeah. Stuff I've been playing this week, I don't have a huge amount to say about. I tried a few things. I played Use Your Words 2 this week. Use Your Words is an alternative that exists to Jackbox. It's one of those things come up on your TV, you make silly answers on your phone, your silly answers come up on the screen, you all vote for who did the funniest answer. Use Your Words 2 is very much the original Use Your Words with a bunch of new content, a bunch of new prompts, and honestly, I think that's fine. For all of the that can be said for the Jackbox collections, like, hey, here's our annual release and there's 5 games, and maybe you'll like one of them. Use Your Words is its minigames are what they are, and it does not focus on anything other than just giving you a lot of content before you see any repetition on those points. The main one they have that I think is very unique and I very much enjoy is around where you are shown a clip from a foreign language film, and you will see it with subtitles, and then one line will not be subtitled, and you come up with a fake subtitled line. That's a pretty classic good one. Use Your Words 2 has tried to add a couple of new mechanics, and they don't detract from the game. I don't think they really add anything either, but they don't detract. If you've written in your answer and you're waiting for other people in the room to write down their funny answers, you have an opportunity to use a power-up of some kind. Like, oh, I'm confident I'm gonna score well this round, so I'll try and get double points on this round. These kind of little bonuses. And you can only use one in a whole game, so you can't be spamming them, but they're a little reward for you are waiting around for everyone else to finish their answers, you get first stab at activating a little bonus power. It's something new that differentiates it from the Jackbox games. I don't think it's necessary. I think the core little silly minigames they have in there are already good. I'm just glad to have more content to see in them. The other one I'll get out of the way quickly is I tried playing the Switch 2 port of Factorio, or the demo for it, because I fully assumed that a Switch 2 version of Factorio would allow me to turn my Joy-Con on its side and use it as a mouse. And it doesn't. Do you know what it does do? It allows you to plug a mouse and keyboard into the dock of your Switch and play it that way. But generally speaking, it's Factorio with a controller. And it runs well, it looks nice. It's not convenient to play that game with a controller, particularly because if you're someone who's played that game before, you know there are large inventory screens that are a frequent part of that game. And if you open an inventory screen and you want to close it, you can't just press B to close it. You have to, with your analog stick or D-pad, go all the way across the inventory and up to the top right, the little X in the top right, to close it. And that game is so frequently about opening inventory, moving something around, closing inventory. That little act of having to move your icon manually to where the top right corner close X is really slows down the flow of gameplay. Which is a shame, because they've thought about, like, outside of the inventory management, they've thought pretty well about how to make that game run on a controller. You use your left analog stick to run around, and your right analog stick is basically a radial wheel selecting the squares immediately around you to help you target the very specific thing you want to be clicking on. And that feels really good. I just wish there was a way for me to press a button to close an inventory menu. Because as minor of a detail as that is, it really fucks up the flow of playing that game. What about you, Steph? You played anything else this week?
Yeah, I went back to Animal Crossing, the New Horizons.
Delightful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Played some of that new update that's happened?
Yeah. And the extra $5 surcharge for an increased resolution, because that's what Nintendo does now.
I mean, if you don't want the extra resolution, the rest of the update was free, all the content bits of it.
The update was free. The Nintendo Switch 2 edition is an extra $5, and all you get is a resolution. And they tossed in some item that lets you call villagers, but like, just a continuation of the grift Nintendo's running.
You know, I'll be honest, there's a lot of money I'd pay for some sense of resolution.
Aha. Yeah. The update that came out was free and welcome. Yeah. I have my issues with New Horizons. I did earn the ire of the Animal Crossing fans when New Horizons first came out. I found a lot of it unnecessarily padded.
I have one major issue with it, and it is that unlike New Leaf, I can't set a mandate where all of the shops are open at night rather than in the daytime. That was the best thing about New Leaf, is being able to be like, the one special rule for my town is I tend to play at night, so make all the shops be open at night for me.
Yeah, and I think that's indicative of the biggest issue running through that game is, in quite a few areas, it feels like a step back. Because that series has added all sorts of interesting quirks and gimmicks. And what is in this one, the crafting system honestly gets used more often than not to pad out the contents and obscure the fact that this is a flimsier ride than previous ones. So they waste your time by having you craft stuff. And what fucking infuriates me at the moment is what I consider incredibly spiteful game design, which is they make hitting trees to get wood really important, and they then increase the amount of wasps' nests you get on your island. And that, to me, is so fucking mean-spirited. The only people entertained by that are the developers, you know? And yeah, like, you can run around and shake all the trees first while holding a bug net, although it still doesn't... I'll still get stung now and then. But whereas in previous games, where you didn't need to collect wood to craft, there was, one wasp nest on the island per day? There are now 5, up to 5, and so far I think it's been the full 5 every day for me. And every island you visit using the Nook Miles ticket will also have one. That is shitty. Like, that is actually shitty. And I consider it genuinely bad from a design perspective. Why increase the need to gather resources and then inherently make gathering resources less enjoyable? Because I hate the wasps. I fucking hate it. This game already, every Animal Crossing, like, the steps you need to do things, there are so many convoluted methods and so many little things that add up to wasted time. Dealing with 5 wasp encounters, baseline 5 wasp encounters a day adds extra hassle when I just want to run around and gather wood. Or run around and shake all the trees holding a bug net because now the wasps have dictated my play style. I really don't care for it. it's not helped by the fact, and this goes all the way back to the first time I ever played an Animal Crossing game. I hate the bee sting effect on the villager's face. It genuinely makes me feel ill. Even though the graphics are not graphic, it is just a swollen, closed eye with some dots on it. Something about it. And I don't have that, what's it, tryptophobia, is it, with the fear of holes?
Yeah.
I don't think I have that. But I do get that sort of reaction from that eye. It might be the fact that I have allergies and I've gone through swellings and things. Not to bee sting or wasp stings, but obviously to nuts, as we discussed earlier. Because that nut allergy scene in the Final Destination film we watched, Laura.
Oh, yeah.
That also made me feel... It was effective in that. But it was so genuine that it really did make me feel awful. But I don't mind that in that film because it was supposed to be that. But the wasp sting face you get in Animal Crossing, it has always disturbed me. And now I get to risk seeing it at least 5 times a day. Well, I say that. I did order and wear Majora's Mask because I popped on an amiibo. So at least I don't have to see it now. But I think it's just to force more crafting because it makes you craft medicine to get rid of it, which you can also buy. But, you know, every wasp nest plus some weeds makes medicine. So, of course, you're going to do that. And the game doesn't need to railroad you into crafting because so much of it already revolves around crafting. People have been trying to defend this to me on Blue Sky. And I'm like, look, mate, I know people want to defend Nintendo from any and all critique. But are we really going to go to bat for wasps' nests? Are we really going to defend the increase of wasps' nests? And it's specifically because you will end up encountering them way more than you used to. It's only there to be a dick. Other than that, it is annoying me how... Again, this is what got to me in the last time I played it. It shouldn't take several real-world days to do stuff. I understand the gimmick of having something like, oh, you'll order this thing, you'll get it tomorrow. I don't mind that. But there are certain things that take so long to fucking get to. And it all feels like they're stretching it out because it doesn't have as compelling stuff to do as you will have found in other ones. I'm not going to say I've had a terrible time with it. Obviously, it still has that sort of baseline enjoyment you get that I've always gotten out of an Animal Crossing game, where I will be quite absorbed in it until one day I say, what the fuck am I doing? And then I stop playing it, which will come at some point. But until then, I have always enjoyed the games. There's still a lot of, like, nice, calming stuff. I invited a rhinoceros that is shaped like a strawberry cake. Or not shaped, like it's shaped like a rhinoceros, but it's pink, and the top of its head has a cream effect, and its horn is a strawberry. It looks awesome. And I like the crafting in theory. I resent how it's been railroaded, but there's plenty I would engage in and have engaged in with crafting on my own volition. You know, I made my bedroom in my house like all mermaidy and shit. And that's cool. I like the customization. I like that I can make all of my tools pink, except for the axes, because even the game acknowledges that those axes break too frequently. I'd forgotten going back that the stone axe lets you safely chop trees without knocking them over, so you can get 3 bits of wood per tree.
Oh, yes.
I also forgot how quickly it breaks. Like, and because of the way crafting works, every time you make an axe, you've got to craft 2 axes, because you've got to make the flimsy axe, and then either the regular or stone axe. Why doesn't it just let you craft the end piece? and use the materials it would have used for the flimsy axe. It's the little things like that that get on my nerves with that game. It's just a lot of little irritants. Married to some pretty good stuff. I am, as always, incredibly compelled to just fill my house with nonsense. I haven't bumped into...
There's some beautiful nonsense in that game. I have in mine, I have a basement that is set up to be a wrestling ring with like a fake crowd on the wallpaper. For some reason, behind like the little commentator's desk that I set up, it's toilets, so they're sat on toilets while doing the commentary of wrestling. Some other bits I remember down there, but I remember it was a wrestling set where the commentators were on the toilet.
Yeah, and I really like that there's enough of that. Like, I want to make an arcade in the house, because you can get like all sorts of arcade machines and crane games and things like that. I wish there was more of it. I like the amiibo scanning gimmick, where you can scan to get a new potential villager, or I've not gotten to that bit yet, but I have gotten to the bit where you can scan amiibo in the photo studio, and then there are items you can buy, so you can fill the house and the island with props from Zelda and Splatoon. I've got the crab tank from Splatoon outside of my house, and I press it to close it into a ball when I go inside, and then when I leave the house, I press it again so it's a crab, so it looks like it's guarding the house. And I've gotten into gardening as well with this one. I've made a little fence and planted flowers.
I did in this one. I got into doing the maths of how you do hybridizing flowers, because I was trying to make blue roses. And I did make them, and then I set up a little section where they would have enough space to propagate themselves.
That sounds cool.
And that's the thing I haven't bothered to do in a lot of the Animal Crossings, but I did get really into the flower work on that one.
Yeah, I haven't thought to do that yet, but I'm going to get blue roses. I like that.
I pulled up the stats. I was curious, how much of this did I play? According to my Switch, I played over 300 hours, and haven't touched it in... since June of 2021. So I really, really did blitz that, and right up until the point that people were allowed outside of their homes again, and then was like, nah, fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah, I think that's true of a lot of folks. Yeah, I'm still gonna play it for a bit.
I'll probably duck into it a bit now that it's got that update. I don't know how long it'll keep me, but
I will say that a lot of the time I'm playing it lately, because I've recently dug out the 3DS again, and I do have a copy of New Leaf, and as I'm playing New Horizons, more than once I will just be like, I just want to go play New Leaf now.
Then go play the New Leaf then.
I want to play New Leaf. I had to get a new 3DS because the cartridge reader in my previous one it keeps thinking cartridges have been removed, and that's the third... I've managed to get my hands over the years on 3 gold Majora's Mask Edition 3DSs. I love that edition. Every single one has gotten itself destroyed somehow. It's just a curse. I just got an orange one this time. I was just like, fuck it, I'm not getting another Majora's Mask one. Plus they've gotten really expensive, which only makes me sadder that mine are all balked. I just got an orange one. So... I won't go into all of what I've been playing there, but I have been indulging in... Because Fee's youngest found that case. You know, that case of 3DS and DS games I lost? Yeah, he was rolling around on the floor and was like, what's that? And it was under the couch and just produced it. Which was, he'd been really quite naughty that day. And then I couldn't be grumpy at him because he'd just done me a massive solid. So he had redeemed himself. And that is why he could stay up a bit later. But yeah, I've got that now. So I've been going through some of that. But yeah, nice. Animal Crossing New Horizons has a lot of good stuff from Animal Crossing. Like it's got that baseline Animal Crossing fun, full of little hassles, railroading, and bits that just irritate the piss out of me.
Yeah. Before we go for this week, we got a couple of little newsy bits that feel worth talking about before we wrap. Let's deal with this one. You know how on Steam currently, if a game has any AI bullshit at all was involved in its development, you got to disclose that on the Steam store page. You got to be like, "Yep, hands up, I used AI when making this game." Valve has gone in and tweaked its AI policy, and not for the better. The distinction that Valve is now drawing is that developers using, quote, AI-powered tools for, quote, efficiency gains are not the focus of its policy, and that they're not, we don't want you gotta label your game if you're putting, like, AI-generated art in there, but, like, maybe if you used AI to help write your code, or ideate on your ideas, then maybe you don't have to disclose that you used AI to make your game.
Where's that clip of Timon from the Mega Drive game going, "It starts"? Like, this is where it starts. The erosion, because AI is the special little golden boy that gets special little golden treatment. I did see a story last night that fucking guy from Microsoft gave a talk where he said that the AI boom is in trouble if it doesn't find more adopters. I love how scared they are, because it is a boom and there will be a bust, and people do not want this. They are forcing it on you in ways that you sort of have to engage with it. Like, if I'm Googling something, it throws the answer up via AI at you.
Put -AI into all of your Google searches. It removes that summary. Yeah.
I did not know that. I'll do that.
You shouldn't have to.
No, you shouldn't have to. And you feel awful, because if the answer's slapping you right in the face, like, sometimes you will just scan that information.
Sure.
And then I have to make a point of, like, finding a site and clicking on it just to give something a click, rather than have AI serve you up what is just stolen from a website anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely does mark the first sort of erosion of the platform with regards to its approach to AI, for sure. It's kind of like, oh, you can have a little bit of eliminating workforce just as a treat. But, we're going to see it creep into the art stuff. I think it's going to be more for coding initially until, they sort out how to very perfectly trick people into not realizing that visual stuff is AI.
I think part of the problem already is that they're being deliberately vague in that they're saying you don't have to label your game as using AI if you only use tools for efficiency gains.
Right.
And how long is it going to be before you get, like... Because I feel like the first stepping stone on that is you get someone who's like, well, I didn't AI generate the art whole cloth. I just used the auto-fill AI tool in Photoshop to, like, finish off a thing. That's just an efficiency gain. I didn't waste time doing it. I gained efficiency while letting Photoshop finish.
It would be very efficient for me to generate an entire game through an AI prompting system and then put it up on Steam. That's super efficient. I gained so much efficiency doing that.
That's it. The line of where, quote, an efficiency gain versus a whole cloth generation is left vague so that people can not tick the AI box and go, well, I thought I was just doing an efficiency gain. It's not my fault.
It's actually making it vague. It's actively contributing to that problem in the same way that we see things that are intended, quote unquote, to protect children from, quote unquote, adult content. Mm-hmm. That definition then is allowed to be applied in very, very broad ways. And that's what we're going to see with AI.
I've got a video coming up on this. Euphemism and implication, it's the language of these people. It's the language of bad actors. It's a language that social media platforms want us all to speak now. And yeah, it lets them apply rules utterly arbitrarily, which is something I've been more and more conscious of, is how online, how many rules aren't called rules, how many are just guidelines, because that means they can enforce what they want and look the other way when they want. And shit like this really does alarm me. I hate the intentionally vague way that this stuff is written, especially because of the way AI and NFTs before it, and all of these tech bro fads rely on creeping concessions.
Mm-hmm.
They rely on your boundaries relaxing more and more so they can push more and more. And that is why what Steam has done is so damaging long term, because that sets the precedent. AI can only be given a hardline no. That is the only thing it deserves. It is the only thing that will work. No. That's it. No, oh, well, here's an acceptable use. Here's an ethical use. For AI to be kicked out of games like it should be, the only thing you say is no.
Agreed.
Yep.
No, Conrad, I said no. Not yup. No.
I do not consent.
Yeah.
And that's probably a good place for us to wrap for today, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Laura, I may want to say no to AI, but if someone says, do you want to read or watch or hear something of Laura's? I'll say, yep! Can you tell us how we can do that, please?
Yeah, go to Laura K. Buzz, wherever you find stuff on the internet. Patreon, that's the one that pays the bills. As little as $1 a month over there keeps the lights on. But also, even if you're not paying, that's probably the best place to find, like, all the stuff that I'm doing posted in one place. Over on YouTube, you can check out a video I did about the British Sign Language Gaming Glossary, which is a collective effort to standardize British Sign Language terms for gaming terminology. It's a really interesting project that's going on. Go check out my video about that, in which I learned several British Sign Language signs for video game company names. That's a fun thing you can join me on doing. I am currently working on a video that is going to involve me playing Train Simulator on a train, and I am chaotically preparing the last bits of work before I go and film that, so look forward to that maybe next week. I'm very proud of this video that is going to be a lot of work to record, but I think it's going to be worth it. What about you, Conrad? Where are you out on the internet?
You could find me at Conrad Zimmerman on Blue Sky, and you can hang out with me on Twitch at twitch.tv/thatConradZimmerman, where I'm usually on Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays. You could buy anti-capitalist propaganda and Jimquisition merchandise at mercenarycreative.com, and everything I do online gets supported through Patreon at patreon.com/fistshark. And you know who else has a Patreon? Stephanie Sterling.
That is correct. Patreon.com/Jimquisition, which supports this podcast, and the reviews on the Jimquisition.com. There's a Code Violet review on the site right now, and the web series, the artist formerly known as the Jimquisition, Hi Steph, got a new video in the works on that, which will either be this coming weekend or the weekend after. That one is about YouTube's latest bit of language sanitization. And if you thought I was harsh the last time I covered that, you are not prepared. Because there is something it's doing right now that is deeply alarming. So got that coming. Otherwise, you can check out my writing in Date Everything, Vampire Survivors, and Quantum Witch. And we got Vampire Survivors, The Grimoire, a law book co-written by myself and Paul Davies, coming out a little later this year. Other than that, thank you all so much for supporting. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.